Greetings, everybody. It's Patricia Berry from the Salty Fundraiser, and I'm joined today for brief love letters to badass women, to one of my favorite badass business leaders, community connectors, and somebody I love to get into trouble with in a good way on a regular basis, Sharonda Simmons from Thrive and Shine. And Sharonda and I met, I think, a couple years ago. We're both alumni of an organization that I really love, a program that I really love, Champions for Change here in Southeast Michigan. She was the year ahead of me. And then we kind of met the year that I was doing it, realized that we totally meshed with our fiery, salty ways. And for better or for worse, the organization that hosted this Champions for Change invited me and Sharonda to speak to I think it was a question about how women in business can manage their stress.
Kind of like self-care.
Yeah. And I think they were thinking like, learn meditation. These guys are going to give us all good things. And Sharonda and I, without even really collaborating ahead of time, just went in and set fire to that, right? We were like, this is not candles. This is not massage. This is, I need a personal assistant and a living wage. And I'm going to burn this place down and don't accept no for an answer. You know, just like, so it was a great conversation. I think Sharonda and I decided we were in love. And her work in the DEI space has totally informed and inspired a lot of the conversations that I'm having in the philanthropy and equitable sharing of wealth space. So really just, it was one of the reasons that I made it through the pandemic, both wholehearted and with my business intact, some of these morning conversations that Sharonda and I had. So she's amazing. And this is my love letter to one of the baddest ass women that I know. So Sharonda, what I invited everybody to do on these calls was to talk a little bit for Women's Month, because that's kind of like the overall theme. Did you have a question you wanted to answer or something you wanted to say? We can break down the fourth wall. You can talk to the camera.
Yeah.
You can tell all the badass women out there and men.
So the thing that has been circulating for me, which you and I have talked about in depth, is this concept of honoring your no. And so many times, particularly as women, I think that we think about our work commitments as business owners, our business commitments, relationship commitments, and we still jump to say yes. And let me use I statements. I jump to say yes sometimes, and it's out of fear that people will be upset with me, fear of rejection. And that could be like rejection of an opportunity. It could be, rejection of, the fear of the unknown, like, well, here's some money and like, we're growing a business here. And one of the things I realized is when I jump and say that yes, that like does not resonate with my body, and I give this like hesitant yes, I then end up really just feeling resentful. And like, if I could just be uncomfortable for that like 15, 20 seconds and say no, that uncomfortable no is so much better than like a bitter yes. And so that's
I feel that so much. Like, and when you're doing a values-based business, and this is what I love talking, that no becomes very important, right?
Yeah.
That it's, first of all, it's a place of struggle because, we're here, I'm new on the scene, I just need to make the rent. How about that? But also too, like there's things, as we are doing this values-based business, there's things that we're not going to do, that we're not going to support, that we don't want to be a part of. And it feels kind of so dangerous. And, what I talk to with my clients about raising money, that they'll be defined by what they say no to, which money they say no to. Yeah. Right. Both with, it's not going to take them onto a weird mission creep to say yes to money that was really about manipulation. And it opens up space so that the people that you're really meant to work with, that you really resonate, have the space to come and find you, but it's scary, right? And I really recognize, in our conversations, it's highlighted to me that my no is often safer sometimes because it comes from a place of white privilege. So I just want to acknowledge that it's, in a lot of ways, it's easier for me to say no, even though it's hard in some situations, because, you know, like that's part of the power dynamic of no as well.
Yeah.
But once you stand in that,
so much better. Like, like my body like eased up. And I appreciate you for saying that, because it's true. I do think that, you know, for women, for folks of color, for like anyone from like a marginalized community, saying no can really be dangerous, like life-threatening, you know, fear
economic
of
threatening.
Yeah, economic, like all of the above. And I think that when I think about no, though, I think about it also as like this act of resistance, right? Me saying no lets you know that I have just as much right to be here as you do. And so like it's a boundary, right? Like you can't come into a particular space that I have because that's not yours. And I think that can freak out like dominant culture, is when people start saying no. And so for me, it's also this active practice of resistance, is to go, no, I don't like that. I don't want to do that.
What a really wonderful mentor, woman mentor in business said to me early on was, no is a complete sentence. And if you offer anything else other than no, somebody's going to take it as a negotiation. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of like, okay. But I mean, trying that and being in that space, and I use this for fundraising too. Like when you ask for money, shut up. It's that 30 seconds after you've asked for the really big thing, right? I think it's that 30 seconds after you said the complete sentence. Sharonda, would you like to do this really stupid thing that's going to suck the life out of you? And you're going to do it for a ridiculously low rate, because this is really great marketing for you. It's going to really set your business up to come and work for us. How would you like to do that, Sharonda?
No. I would not like to do that. The end.
No negotiation.
People watching, gasping, like, what happens after that? No.
Well, you know, I think it's interesting because, you know, sometimes that right after that silence, right? Because we've done the thing that nobody expects the woman to do, right? Mm-hmm. You just told me no.
How dare you tell me no?
But standing in that place and getting used to that boundary, I think for me, I'm, you know, even in my 50s, I'm still learning that moment.
Yeah.
To not let it slide into, you don't get to talk me out of this because I'm not giving you any reasons other than no.
Because when I've done the soft no, when I've done the, well, maybe is usually,
or I can't do that because I've got an alternate engagement.
Mm-hmm. Then there are all these other doors. It's like I leave the door cracked. And so then I spend the next week, 15 minutes, however long, trying to like close the door. But now there's like the foot and the person is trying to pry in. But if I could just give like a definitive no, then that's it, right? Like there's more energy trying to give something that's not true. Uh-huh. And I have this mentee who is 19 now, but it was last year. She does hair. And so she called me and she's like, Miss Sharonda, I have a friend who wants me to do their hair. I think they want me to do it for free, but I told myself at the beginning of the year, this is the price that I'm going to set. And if I say yes to her, am I betraying myself? And I was like, I will drop my phone right now. I wish I was 18 and like had that information. And so I think that's what I would share with other people, is that yes, that does not resonate with you, cost you something. Like
the emotional labor of that.
Yep. And sometimes me saying no to someone else has to happen because it's too expensive for me. Like that yes is too expensive for me. That peace of mind that I'm going to show up and like, again, be bitter about it or be tired. And what I found is even if people don't like it, it shows you who's there for you, just like you're talking about with your clients. And then you can make a decision accordingly.
Right.
And that's much more peaceful. Or when that person affirms your no, then you understand that you have a better relationship, whether that's a working relationship or a personal relationship, that you can show up with more freedom.
It's trusting.
And it's trusting. Exactly.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, Sharonda. Power of no, power of badass, boss
Yes.
ladies. You'll hear more from me and Sharonda soon because we got some trouble to get into, right, Sharonda?
Yes, we do.
Thanks for being on.